From shamelessly copying the gameplay and building mechanics of Fortnite to lying about using the same features, here are 19 games that actually copied other games. Number 1, Tappy Chicken. Does this look familiar to you? Well, it's because after the success of the addictive mobile game Flappy Bird, Epic Games released Tappy Chicken as a clone with the same addictive gameplay. Number 2, Rules of Survival. Now, that's an actual copycat. After PUBG blew up in the mobile gaming world in 2017, many clones flooded the market on PC and mobile platforms. Rules of Survival, released by NetEase in the same year, shamelessly borrowed heavily from it. The core concept of both games is literally identical, but because the mobile version of Rules of Survival came out earlier, they got away with it. Number 3, The War Z. The War Z tried to ride the success of DayZ, released a few months earlier, by imitating it to the point of being an exact replica copy. It's remembered as one of the worst games ever made. Number 4, Unearthed Trail of Ibn Battuta. It's hard to think of anyone who could make a game like the Uncharted series, but clearly someone did try to clone Uncharted Drake's Fortune, which came out in 2007. That's how they made Unearthed Trail of Ibn Battuta. The most obvious flaw is that the movement's so bad that everyone looks as stiff as a board. Number 5, Castle Miner. Mojang Studios' Minecraft is the game of our age. It had to have clones. Castle Miner by Digital DNA was the worst of all. This is also a sandbox block building game where you mine for materials and make things. It was just one of many Xbox Live indie games that were made to look like Minecraft. Even though people said it was the worst, it sold a lot of copies. It just goes to show that copying something can pay off sometimes. Number 6, Mole Cart. In the form of Mole Cart, China has once again made a copycat game. Almost every review in the App Store names the clear source of inspiration Mario Kart from 1997. Nintendo figured out what was going on and the game was quickly removed from the system, but it didn't take long before the game came out again with a brand new name. Number 7, Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion. So many games tried to copy the success of Super Smash Bros, but most of them don't understand that you need a strong character roster, good level design, and a balanced punch time explosion. Even the Subspace Messenger from Brawl has its own version in the game. Number 8, Tarisland. With some games like World of Warcraft being banned from China soon, the upcoming Tarisland is one clone of World of Warcraft that will help Chinese fans get through this time. Of course, the lore isn't as good as World of Warcraft, and neither is the graphics resolution or animation, but it is not as shameless as most other copies on this list. Number 9, Genshin Impact. It's hard to think of this amazing game as a clone, but it's got a little too much in common with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Nintendo's original RPG is one of the best reviewed games ever, and many RPG makers have looked to it for ideas on what to do well. Genshin Impact isn't exactly a copy of Breath of the Wild, but it does seem to share the fantasy world and friendly characters a bit. Number 10, Ace Force. This game blatantly copies Blizzard's groundbreaking work and offers a similar game experience with a few of its own twists. The game's settings and goals are eerily similar to those of Overwatch from 2016, but the game's effort to change the formula by adding a battle royale mode might be the most shameless move of all. Number 11, The Walking Dead Our World. How often a game has been copied is a sign of how popular it is. So Pokemon Go is a hit not just because it has made billions of dollars, but also because it has been copied so many times. Some Pokemon Go copies like The Walking Dead Our World don't try very hard to hide where they got the idea from. Number 12, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Another Flappy Bird clone, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening looks like an adventure and fantasy game, but it has a surprising similarity to the famous Flappy Bird game. It's like two completely different worlds met in the strangest ways. In this unexpected crossover, players have to help the famous character Link, who looks a lot like a certain elf hero, get past a number of dangerous hurdles. Number 13, Blade and Sword 2002 and Diablo 1997. Blade and Sword came out in 2002 as a game that tried to capture the hack and slash gameplay that made Diablo such a huge hit. It was made by Pixelsoft and Whiptail Interactive, who took a lot of ideas from the Diablo series' isometric view, dungeon crawling features, and loot-driven gameplay. In both games, players fight swarms of enemies by hacking, slashing, and casting spells. Number 14, Dante's Inferno. At its core, Dante's Inferno is very close to God of War in terms of how it is played and how it works. Players take control of Dante, a warrior who travels through the 9 levels of hell to save his love. Like Kratos, Kratos in God of War, Dante uses a range of weapons and powerful combo moves to wipe out his enemies in fast-paced bloody fights. Also, Dante's Inferno has the epic size and movie-like style that made the God of War series so popular. Number 15, Darksiders. This hack and slash fighting system, another clone of God of War, which makes the game intense and fun to play. Also, Darksiders tells its story in a similar cinematic way with epic boss fights, complicated puzzles, and a big picture story. The game puts players in a world where gods and demons fight each other, similar to the great battles seen in the God of War series. Number 16, Fading City. The story of Fading City has the same emotional depth and focus on characters as The Last of Us. In a world that is about to fall apart, the game looks at life, loss, and the fragile bonds between characters. Fading City has a lot in common with The Last of Us when it comes to the intense and often scary parts of the story. Just look at the similarities.
The place was clear last time.
Coming out of something.
Number 17, Combat Master. This game is a little too similar to Modern Warfare from 2007. The game puts players in the shoes of well-trained soldiers and puts them in fast-paced, first-person shooting situations in a range of modern urban warfare settings. When it comes to multiplayer, Combat Master has modes and mechanics that are very similar to those in the Modern Warfare Call of Duty series.
Enemy down.
Number 18, Crackdown from 2007. From the huge open world environments to the criminal activities and action-packed tasks, Crackdown seemed to take a lot from what made GTA so popular. In Crackdown, players take on the part of an agent whose job is to take down criminal groups. They are free to roam around a lively and exciting city, go on high-speed chases, get into intense gunfights, and do other illegal things. There's no denying that these parts remind you of the open world crime, gaming, and Grand Theft Auto series. Number 19, Mobile Legends from 2016. In Mobile Legends, players compete in 5v5 matches with other players. They work together to come up with a plan, beat the other team, and destroy their base. The game has a large number of heroes, each with their own skills and roles. This is way too similar to how you choose your champion in League of Legends, believe it or not, and it looks like Riot Games noticed too because they sued them for copyright. For some reason, even after the lawsuit, this game just refuses to die. So, from shameless copies to taking some inspiration from the original, these are 19 video game copycats. Which copycat was the most shameless for you? Let us know in the comments below and make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Bye guys!